Okay, so I'm going to talk about an incident that happened yesterday, which was the Wednesday. So that would have been late afternoon on Wednesday. It's now the Thursday morning for me. Now, I'm talking about this now, but I may put this out in a couple of days. The reason I've kind of referenced the day is because the people involved, namely an ambulance or an ambulance driver, may see this and may kind of maybe want to comment or maybe accept my apology. This is quite embarrassing, and this is why I'm putting it out there, really just to kind of put it out there to people, just to kind of be a little bit more empathetic when it comes to maybe a road rage type incident. Now, I'm a good driver, in my opinion. I've been driving since 1995 when I was 17. I've had no accidents that were my fault. I think somebody crashed into the back of me once. I might have backed into something once, but other than that, my record is pretty clean, and I feel that I'm quite a good driver. Obviously because of the judo that I do, and that obviously I travel around the country for with Ryan, my boy. We do a lot of miles. We do a lot of miles in all different parts of the country, you know, on motorways, busy towns and cities. And I very, very rarely have any incidents at all. And, you know, I feel that I'm quite a good driver. Now, yesterday, I was coming back. I'd taken my daughter, Lucy, to a ballet class. Now, I dropped her off and I was on my way back home, and I was just about to kind of, you know, just drop a couple of things off, do a couple of jobs and get out again to my judo class that I had Wednesday evening. Now, obviously I was thinking about what I had to do when I got in. My mind was a little bit elsewhere, shall we say, and I was driving up on the last sort of main road before I turn off for my house, if you like. And in the distance, I see a car coming round the roundabout, followed by an ambulance. Now, the ambulance had its siren going, so I could hear a noise. Obviously, I could see the blue light flashing. They both come off the roundabout, and the car in front of it, which was kind of holding it up as it went round the roundabout, slowed down and come to a halt, more or less. Now, I've got bags of time to see this happening. Now, we all know, and I've, countless times I've had ambulances in front of me, behind me. I feel like I'm one of them people who are really quite aware when they drive. I tend to see ambulances coming up in my mirrors, and I tend to pull over before the people behind me even. I'm normally really aware of stuff when it comes to like emergency vehicles and stuff. And like I say, I've pretty much got a clean record, even, for things like that. Now, on this occasion, I have got no idea what was going through my head. Nothing, really, is the answer to that. Nothing. Because even though I could see the ambulance, even though I could see the flashing lights and I could hear the sirens, it didn't mean anything to me. For some reason, it just didn't register what I had to do. Now, I can't explain why this happened. I can't explain it, simply because it's never happened to me before. Hopefully it never happens to me again. I just carried on driving. So the car on the opposite side of the road, which is a little way in the distance, has stopped. The ambulance, obviously thinking that he's now safe to go round the car in front, which he should have been, he then decides to start pulling out. Now, I'm just, this is my cue really to slow down for the ambulance to come past the car on the opposite side of the road and obviously sweep in front of me and then carry on its merry way. Now, for some reason on this occasion, I just didn't register what I had to do. I didn't even think about it. It was just a case of there's an ambulance, there's a siren, there's a flashing light, and it's behind that car. Nothing registered whatsoever. And I carry on at my same speed, and I'm trundling forward, and then the ambulance starts to try and overtake, which rightly so, it should do. And I suddenly clock what's happening. I suddenly switch on and I think, oh, I've got to brake. I've got to brake because this ambulance wants to come through. I then realise that maybe I'm going a little bit quick to suddenly brake. And if I do brake, we're then going to be in a position where there's not enough room for it to get through. So I kind of half-heartedly brake and then in two minds go to go again and then brake. And then all of a sudden I'm realising I'm being a complete div. So now I've got to commit and I've just got to carry on, you see. So I've got to basically go past this car that is stopped, go past the ambulance, which is now half pulled out. And I'm almost on a head-on collision with this ambulance. And I then trundle forward. I can see what's happening. And the ambulance driver, rightly so, just looks at me and just goes like that. And to be perfectly honest, if I was him, I would be doing exactly the same. I can think of a number of times where I've seen incidents, not even as bad as that, where I've seen people stop in funny positions or get in ambulances ways or you know, any emergency vehicle for that matter. And I've just sometimes thought, what are they doing? You know, like, how can they not be aware? How can they be so stupid, really? Now, because of what happened yesterday, you know, I literally, I obviously then carried on driving, and the ambulance driver was making a face at me, rightly so. And I just went, sorry, you know, like, as if to say, I don't really know why I did that. Now, I felt a complete div, and probably the reality is, you know, I probably held him up for maybe 2 seconds. Probably didn't make, hopefully didn't make any difference to the emergency. Hopefully nobody died because of my, you know, me holding them up for 2 seconds. However, you know, that was really, really stupid. I've got no idea why it happened, and I felt a complete div. So I'm putting this out there. This is the reason I'm putting the video on, because like I said, there's countless times where I've seen people get in emergency vehicles ways, and I've kind of just gone, what are they doing? Why are they such an idiot? Why, blah, blah, yeah? And on this occasion, I was that guy. In fact, I was probably worse than anything I've probably ever seen, which is like ridiculous considering my record previous to that. I don't consider myself a bad driver. So the reason I'm putting this on is really just for us all to kind of consider that everyone can make a mistake. We're all human. You know, we've probably all been in positions where we've made mistakes, where we've pulled out on somebody by accident, where we've cut somebody up by accident. And you know, generally what happens is when somebody does cut us up or somebody pulls out on us, we just, again, make a face. We might stick our finger up. We might, I'm not talking about me, I'm just talking in general. You know, might stick their finger out, they might shout out the window, they might swear, they might, you know, kind of almost square up to the person in the other car, because we see that a lot. And on occasions, you know, there have been incidents, we see it more and more now on YouTube and stuff, people getting out of their cars and actually, you know, kicking the other vehicle or grabbing somebody out of the car and actually really, you know, having a go at them. And my advice now really is, you know, just to have a little bit of empathy for the other person. You know, maybe you put yourself in that position, maybe that person was just thinking about something else. Maybe they were just not registering for whatever reason, just like me. Maybe they were, I don't know, maybe they've got something going on in their life and they just were in a slightly different place at that point. You know, and I'm not saying that was okay. You know, what I did was completely ridiculous, really. But that could be you. That could be you do that. That could be, you know, it could be somebody else that you know and somebody else that you like. You know, I kind of thought that the car that was coming the other way was fairly close to my home as well. So I kind of thought, I really hope that wasn't somebody I knew, because that was such an idiotic thing to do. So yeah, I'm putting it on really just to say, have some consideration for other drivers. Let people off. Kind of, you know, of course there are bad drivers out there and maybe they do that on a regular basis, but try and consider that maybe that person just made a mistake. We all make mistakes. And, you know, at the end of the day, we can kind of only sort of like judge people on, you know, in the way that we judge ourselves. And I will kind of not judge myself too harshly on it, simply because I've never done it before, and I'm hoping I never do it again. But what I will like to say is, if the ambulance driver ever sees this, maybe you know an ambulance driver who lives locally, and it's sort of like, you know, around the Great Yarmouth, kind of Bradwell, Galston area. You know, maybe you could speak to them, because that could be that person, and just say, oh, I've seen a video here, there's a guy in here, you know, admitting that he made a mistake. So if you're on here, Mr. Ambulance Driver, I just want to say I'm really sorry. I didn't do it on purpose, and yeah, hopefully you can forgive me, and I'll try my best to not do it again. Anyway, a little bit of a funny story, and I'll see you on another one. Thanks, guys.